We looked at this Honda Fit a few weeks ago, and I was telling you about how it's very flexible, incredibly handy, great on fuel, roomy for its size, and probably one of the most useful and well thought out little cars on the road today, but one with a few compromises. Main complaints? Well, despite how Fit is a fantastic around town runabout, it fell a little short on the highway with a relatively noisy ride, a noisy engine, a small fuel tank which limits highway cruising range, and it lacks an armrest. This is the Honda HR-V, and it's very similar to that Honda Fit in a number of ways, largely because they're built on the same platform. So to some, this HR-V, Honda's smallest SUV, makes more sense for a shopper after added highway cruising comfort and all-weather confidence. How? Well, the HR-V feels larger, denser, more robust. It's a quieter highway ride. The driving position is elevated. You sit higher up in the HR-V, which many shoppers like. The fit and finish and build quality feels more upscale too. The engine is more powerful, more pleasing when worked, and less noisy, and you get more cargo space. And having more cargo space than a Honda Fit in a compact package is a pretty big deal, since the Fit jams a nearly impossible amount of space into its body, and this HR-V has even more.
Now the pricing is interesting. The HR-V and the Fit overlap. The Fit starts under 15, maxes out around 22, with the HR-V starting closer to 21 and maxing out around 30 with all-wheel drive, which you can't get in the Fit. Now this is the base model HR-V with manual transmission and front-wheel drive, which, depending on your preferences and budget, might make a worthy alternative for some Fit shoppers.
Translation, an HR-V like this one makes more sense than a Fit if you're after even more space, a taller driving position, and a more comfortable, quiet, and premium feel from the ride, handling, and engine. For some shoppers, giving up a little featured content and a few $100 extra for a better ride and quieter drive at a similar price point will be a no-brainer. So if you're test driving a new Fit, be sure to test drive an HR-V too. It's always nice to have options. Of course, Honda's littlest sports ute stands very well on its own. First, the styling, which is unique, upscale, distinctive, and looks sort of serious, sophisticated, and even a little bit rugged compared to some competitors. The cargo space is deep and wide and box-shaped, maximizing space, but note that adding all-wheel drive means this cargo hold shrinks a little. In the front drive tester, it's handy and spacious and packed with storage, as Hondas tend to be. The cargo space and rear seats aren't cramped and tiny like, say, in a Mazda CX-3. On board, the HR-V's styling is a little quirky and odd thanks to the elevated center console with an opening beneath, the enormous passenger side heating duct that covers half the dash, and the cloth-lined door panels, which look and feel nice but will be challenging to clean after they're soiled by yucky toddlers. The cup holders are weird too, since they're square and your double-double is not. And there's only one cup holder in the back down here where it's hard to reach, and getting into those rear seats can be a bit of a chore depending on how you're shaped. No problem for me though. In all, it's fairly spacious, comfortable, and flexible in here. Functionality first and styling second. But up front, even this bare-bones tester got a touchscreen audio display system, a driver computer, chrome trim, a high-tech touch-tap climate control console, and steering wheel audio and cruise and Bluetooth phone controls. Not to mention a backup camera and heated seats. This is a highly relevant standard feature set for today's driver. Not at all bad for a base model. But it's the driving experience more so than the look and layout that make the HR-V's cabin a nice place to be. It's quieter at higher speeds than the Fit, and even highway cruising doesn't require you to raise your voice much for a conversation. The ride quality is more consistent over more surfaces and less at the mercy of what's passing beneath. It feels dialed in, durable, and solid on rough roads without being uncomfortable, and a little sporty and stiff but without crashing into bumps and potholes, and with less noise from the suspension beneath. In fact, it reminds me of the Subaru Crosstrek where ride quality is concerned, and that's a good thing.
If you like shifting your own gears, you'll love this 6-speed manual transmission. The shifter has a charmingly light and precise throw despite a solid and positive shift action. The clutch is forgiving in traffic but has adequate bite, and the 1.8-liter VTEC 4-cylinder engine, to which that's all bolted, performs best when you get it spinning fast, where it sounds eager to please and operates with a tasteful growl and never sounds overworked. This is one of the best powertrains you're going to find in a little ute today.
So, sporty ride, sporty shifter, and a sporty engine? Yeah, you got it, and the sporty steering ties it all together. It's light and precise, quicker than average, not big on feel, but well matched to the suspension setup and handling. And all said, this base model HR-V might not be intended to light the performance buff's soul on fire, but it sure doesn't mind having the bejesus driven out of it if that's your thing. If it's not, expect good mileage and a refined drive when you aren't in a rush. Engine noise levels are low unless it's pushed, and the easygoing clutch and shifter make it a piece of cake to drive the HR-V gently and just sit back and relax. There's an econ mode here which takes away some throttle response and gives you better mileage, although I achieved a thrifty test average under 8 liters per 100 clicks without using it at all. Interestingly, my notes show that the less powerful and smaller fit actually used more fuel on my test drive. Gripes. My biggest complaints all came to light in the cabin. Taller passengers griped often and vigorously about the shape of their footwell, which makes it difficult for leggier folks to stretch out and get comfy. Second, these cup holders are just disappointing. It's 2016 for crying out loud. They fit a milk carton perfectly, but your round coffee cup will bounce all over the place and spill. And though I appreciate the cloth door panels giving me a soft surface beside which to rest my arms, they're not a good idea either since you can't clean them. At the end of the day, a bare-bones front-drive, manual-equipped HR-V like this one ticks all the right boxes for fuel mileage, flexibility, great driving manners, and even some fun-to-drive factor, all of which makes it a pretty compelling package, especially if you find the fit just a bit too small and a bit too noisy. Pricing for a base model unit like our tester from under 21, with all-wheel drive commanding a price tag of about $24.5, and pricing from about $30,000 for a fully decked out unit. Thanks for watching.